Welcome in. What's Right with Nick Wright, episode 255. If you're watching us on YouTube, we appreciate it. If you would subscribe to the YouTube channel, that would be greatly appreciated. Hit the bell and you'll be notified whenever we go live. You can also subscribe on any audio platform, but the YouTube channel works great if you'd like to do that. Also, a little scheduling update. Show today, obviously. Show Thursday. Then my wife and I's annual sojourn to Europe in August. We are taking Friday night, and we will be off the following week. And then when we get back, by then Brew will be back from, his 7th vacation of the summer. First things first, we'll be whole. We will be whole, and we'll be full-blown football for the next 6 months. So that's the schedule. Damonza, great to see you. I sent Damonza a great video this weekend of his mother and I coming out of a nightclub on Saturday night. Saturday night, and there was a guy with an awesome boa constrictor that your mom had just enough Reposado sodas that she was like, let me hold that snake. and we got a video of that.
Snake.
It was a beautiful snake.
And you also sent me a picture of the Spanish thing with the dog. That's what I thought you were going to bring up with Mo. Or did you know that there was writing on that, or did you just see the picture and turn it around?
So let me we're going to get to Olympic basketball in just a moment, but let me give context here. So we had a miniature schnauzer for 16 years. I guess I had him for 13 years. Because he was 3 when I came into the picture. Yeah. So you guys had and there was a small like square photograph sitting on the kitchen counter, and it was Mo when he was a puppy, it looked like. Or at least very young. Yeah, but it was a smaller Mo than I had ever seen. And I saw it and I got happy because that was my first dog ever. And when he got old and sick at the end, I really took care of him. And I saw him and I just said, "Oh, Mo." I'll be honest with the audience. I said, "Oh, Moji Woj," because that's what we called it. And your mom said to me, "Look at the back of it." And I look at the back of it, and there is some of the worst Spanish I've ever read. And it was very clearly part of Damonza's school project or something where either he was supposed to write the description of the picture on the picture, or he was supposed to hold up a picture and say what it is and was cheating by reading off the back. Either way, it wasn't going to be successful because I don't think that was proper Spanish.
Yeah, I tried to translate it yesterday on my phone. It came out to my dog I fear greatly or something like that. It was,
but I saw that and I sent Damonza a picture of both. It's very funny. Yeah, sent Damonza a video of his mother and I walking out of a club and seeing a boa constrictor. I asked the guy if it was a ball python because those are the snakes you have. He said no, it was a boa. And then sent him that. All right. Somebody says, did you bike home from the club like Booker? No, this actually was a place within walking distance of my house. So there was a big Harlem. This is Harlem week right now, and there was a big kind of block party right by Trentage where we do the show from. And then after that, there was stuff going on a block away from us. So we just ended up walking down from there. Okay, here's what missed the cut. It's all Jets nonsense. The Jets traded for a player who wanted out of Philadelphia because he wanted a new contract. They evidently thought, well, you might want a new contract with the, defending NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles, but you won't want a new contract with the most embarrassing organization in the league. We'll trade for you. That player, shockingly, still wants a new contract and now has demanded a trade before ever setting foot in the facility. Evidently, Woody Johnson gave Aaron Rodgers the Queen's honey. I don't totally understand this. Daniel tried to explain it to me. I still don't understand it, but I'm excited to read Ian O'Connor's book. And Rodgers regrets his immunized comments. And if you read that excerpt, what he said was, yeah, that's the one thing the media could really hit me on. So at least from the excerpt, it wasn't so much I regretted it because I lied. It was I regretted it because I gave people ammunition. But I'll read the book at whole. Maybe I'll read that on the flight. I probably won't read it on the flight, to be totally honest, because I don't have it yet. But I'll read it at some point and get back to you guys on it. All right, Damonza. Oh, so they're asking, is the book club back? No, that was a failed experiment. I didn't really know how to execute the book club properly. All right, Damonza, let's get to it. Team USA.
Team USA basketball claimed gold once again after that legendary heater from Stephen Curry in that final game. Obviously, Bron played very well throughout. You actually called for co-MVPs for Steph and LeBron, which I thought was very fair of you. But do you think this will be the last time that we see LeBron and Steph Curry playing high-stakes games?
It's on the board, which is unfortunate. It's also why, and we'll get to this more in a bit, it's why I'd like to see them team up. But first, let's talk about LeBron and Steph and their performances and why I thought co-MVPs would have been the way to go. Those two guys, along with Durant, were the story of this team. Three of the oldest players in league history. Three guys who some believe are three of the 10 greatest players ever. Three guys who everyone believes are three of the 20 greatest players ever. All of whom are past their athletic prime, reminding everyone that when the stakes are the highest, there's not a long list, and the list might honestly be one name long, Jokic, of guys you definitively want over them. Now, Durant didn't really get to show it the whole tournament because he had the calf injury and, didn't really play or didn't play until in any of the exhibition games. But then in the first game he did play, what did he make? His first 10 shots from the field? But that kind of made him a clear third actor in this movie. And this tournament was about Steph and LeBron, and the U.S. was going to win or lose based on Steph and LeBron. And Steph nominated LeBron to be the flag bearer. I still think the coolest image from these Olympics is LeBron holding the flag on the boat going down the Seine, and Coco Gauff there and the whole team there, and this old man with gray in his beard being like, I'm going to remind the entire world one more time that I still might be, as far as the ability to control, figure out, understand, make the right decision, get the ball to the right people, the number one draft pick alive, even though I'm almost 40 years old. And I'll get to the Steph part in a moment, but what these Olympics showed me start to finish was, if LeBron wanted to say, okay, what I'm going to do now in my career is be purely the Magic Johnson role that a 40-year-old LeBron James could be 80% of peak Magic Johnson. Magic might be the fourth greatest player of all time. LeBron in these Olympics played the Magic Johnson role better than Magic Johnson played it in the 92 Olympics. Now, Magic, to be fair, was a year removed from playing competitive basketball because he had retired, but was still excellent. But LeBron's ability to read the game, read the floor, make the right play, and then still, and this is the part, Damonza, that was remarkable to me. He's still the fastest guy on the court 90% of possessions. He can't activate it as often as he used to be able to. He can't play as many minutes at that high of a level as he used to be able to. But as far as in bursts, end-to-end speed, the only guy out there who I felt on any team in the tournament that the U.S. played against or on his own team that could have kept up with him was Anthony Edwards. It's the only guy. And when in the big spots, when LeBron got a defensive rebound and just said, screw this, I'm getting to the basket, he got there with impunity every time. At 65,000 minutes and almost 40 years old. And he was the steady hand. And I know the exhibition play didn't play into who tournament MVP was, but I do think LeBron saving the U.S. in those two close exhibition games played a role in the U.S.'s ability to come back against Serbia. Because I think there was a sense of invincibility. And had they lost one of those, quote, meaningless games to South Sudan or whomever earlier, would they then, when they fell down 19 to Serbia, when they were down 13 at the end of the third quarter, would they have said, oh man, we ain't going to do this? And so LeBron, the fact that he scored in double digits every single game, had 5+ assists in every single game, shot better than 50% from the field in every single game, led the team in minutes, rebounds, assists, field goal percentage, and scored in the tournament 2 less points than Steph. So he ended up missing out on leading them in points by 2 total points. That to me is, and I'll add one other point. In the Serbia game, if Steph was the best player, he was 1B. In the Serbia game, he was phenomenal in the biggest spot. That's the LeBron for MVP case. The Steph for MVP case is much shorter and much simpler. In the semifinals and the finals, he saved the team and was historically prolific from 3. So in the semifinals, he scored the second most points any U.S. men's player has ever scored. That's what made that semifinal game so special. It was, he scored 36, the second most points. Only Melo's ever scored more, scored 37. LeBron had a triple-double, the second U.S. men's Olympic triple-double ever. The previous one was done by LeBron 12 years ago. So 2 of the greatest individual U.S. men's Olympic performances ever happened in the same game. And then in the France game, those final 3 minutes will go down in history. Those final 3 minutes by Steph will be top of mind that people think about when they think about the greatest Steph Curry moments. And that final shot, Damonza, is the iconic one because it was so laughable, but it was also kind of the least important one. The game was not totally in hand, but it was less than a minute left. They were up 6. They were in good shape. The first one was the biggest shot, the second biggest shot, I would argue, of the tournament. I'll get to the biggest shot in a moment. When all of a sudden, France had cut it to 3, and Steph with 2:50 left hits that top of the key 3-pointer to calm everyone down, and then goes and hits 3 more. So there, to me, was a legitimate argument for either of those guys, and I think they embraced each other so much, literally and figuratively, in the tournament, that it would have been really cool to have co-MVPs. Also, I don't think the Olympics needs a tournament MVP. It's a weird thing. They don't do it every time. They did it in 2004 and Manu won it. They did it in 2020 and Durant won it. And they did it this year and LeBron won it. But I think Steph and LeBron sharing it would have been awesome. I also find the discussion around it to be telling, because there has been an embrace of Steph Curry by some of the most vocal LeBron James fans that oddly has not been reciprocated in the other direction, where a lot of the most vocal Steph fans are, furious about the MVP or whatever it is. And I don't really care about that, but I find it interesting because the two athletes themselves have laid their swords down. There was a time when, I don't want to say there was dislike, but felt like an on and off the court rivalry. And that time has passed, where both of these guys know, man, we're not going to have that many more moments like this. And I think they really embraced this. I also, real quick before we get to the other stuff, found it was telling to me, there are some folks that so dislike LeBron, they found themselves openly rooting against Team USA. It was like a weird, and that's not guessing. It was folks admitting it and being like, no, I find this team unlikable or whatever it was. And that was mostly about LeBron, which if your basketball fandom has corroded your brain enough to where you can't enjoy if you did not enjoy watching Team USA, then I just don't know if you're actually a basketball fan. That was some of the coolest basketball I've ever seen in my life. And it's something that will never be able to be duplicated again. And if we're being honest, had never been duplicated in the past. Because you can say the 92 Dream Team with Michael, Magic, and Larry. But Larry was in a back brace. And Magic was a year removed from the league. And the best player, and Jordan shot worse from the field than anyone on his team by a mile. The best player in that was Barkley. Jordan was the best player, but Barkley played the best, I should say. I don't know that we're ever going to get another chance where three Pantheon players all team up together on Team USA and all deliver special moments. And I'll get to Durant's piece of it again in a moment. And so if you can't appreciate that, then I don't know what to tell you. And so now let's get to your actual question, Damonza. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, the high stakes. Do you think, I was going to ask, I mean, you touched on the MVPs. Which guy do you think had a bigger legacy boost with this Olympic run between Steph and LeBron?
I think they're very different. I think that for Steph, it was the one thing he didn't have. He had never played in the Olympics and he had never won a gold. And so for him to end up, these last few years have been really important for Steph. To win the title without Durant and to then do what he did in these Olympics was a real reminder of what a killer he is. Like, everyone's known what a great shooter, what a great teammate, what a great ball handler. The 2022 playoff run plus these Olympics reminded you what a killer he was. For LeBron, it's a different story, which is it will impact his legacy more years down the road than it does right now. Whenever, like what LeBron is doing now to the record books and to oldest ever discussions, like I want This is what's going to happen in 5 years. Okay? In 5 years, there's going to be a basketball game being played between, let me think of what the example would be. Giannis and Wemby. And Wemby this is fan fiction to a degree, so this is not a specific example, but just follow me for a moment. Wemby is going to do something in that game where he crosses this many points or this many rebounds or whatever, some threshold. And they'll put up a graphic and it will say the youngest players to do X. And they'll show Wemby on it, and the record holder will be LeBron, because he's the youngest guy to hit basically every milestone there is in the league. And then in that same game, an old legend will be playing, and it will show, and they'll cross a threshold, a 40-point triple-double, whatever, something like that. And it will show the oldest player to do Y. And on that list, the oldest will be LeBron. LeBron owning all the youngest ever records and the oldest ever records. LeBron having 2 great Olympic performances 16 years apart is a remarkable thing. So let me see if I can pull up the numbers, because I think that Basketball Reference has it. So the 2008 Olympic team, LeBron led the team in points with Kobe that's wrong. Dwayne Wade led them in points with 128. LeBron had the second most points with 124. So LeBron in that tournament in 2008 on Team USA was second in points, third in rebounds, second in assists. So top 3 points, rebounds, assists at 2008 at 23 years old. For him to then be top 3 in points, rebounds, and assists 4 Olympics later at 39 years old is the type of stuff whenever the next Olympian to get men's basketball Olympian to get a triple-double is, okay? And when they show the list on the screen and it says LeBron James in 2012, LeBron James in 2024, and this person, that's where his legacy stuff is going to crystallize, is the full width and breadth of the basketball life that has spanned multiple playing styles, rule changes, and generations. And so that to me is what is, where the legacy stuff comes in. And it's why I want Steph and LeBron on the same team. And we've been talking about it on this show, Damonza, and you can ask the follow-up question there and I'll explain.
Yeah,
and then we'll get to
folks,
every player.
We've talked about it on the show. I feel like other folks have talked of it. Why is everybody cool with it now with Steph and LeBron, and everybody hated Katie for doing it a while back?
Because, again, people need to remember how long it's been. Katie joined the Warriors 8 years ago. So KD was in his absolute apex prime mid-20s. Steph was in his apex prime mid-20s. The last 3 league MVPs at that moment had been Durant, Steph. The Warriors had just won a title and then played Durant's team in the conference finals. And it felt like, wait a minute. These are two, you can win championships on your own. You're on great teams. The Warriors just won 73 games. The Warriors right now just missed the playoffs. The Lakers just got bounced in round 1. And listen, more people watched that game than have watched any basketball game of any sort in 5 years. Steph and LeBron move the needle, unlike any athletes, any basketball playing athletes we have. And I just want to see them play relevant basketball games.
If they didn't team up, do you think that either other team is more likely to be playing in, games that actually matter sooner than the other? Like if Steph or LeBron would be more likely.
I think maybe the Lakers, just because you have AD there, but they're so poorly run and they did so little this offseason. And I just want to see if Steph and LeBron could old man, two-man game their way to an NBA Finals. And I think, listen, I'm not above Adam Silver having an off-the-record closed-door meeting and being like, Lakers, Warriors, or pick a third team, figure it out. Figure something out. It's good for business. And it will create more intrigue and interest rather than these two guys on bad teams or mediocre teams. All right, there's the Steph and LeBron portion of it, Damonza. Let's go through the player by player stuff.
You said you wanted to go through the Olympics player by player, probably just to take a shot at my guy Tatum, but we'll see what it's all about.
No, I do want to, because I think, listen, this was one of my favorite Olympics ever, and we can get more to that in a moment. But let's just go through guy by guy. I was trying to pull up their numbers as a whole, which I thought I was going to easily be able to do, but I'm not quite able to do it. Maybe, Daniel, if one of you guys can find the actual, like, their overall stats, just text it to me. I can do most of it off the top of my head. But we've done Steph and LeBron. Now I want to do Durant. Durant hit the biggest shot of the tournament. The minute left, up 2 against Serbia, the Durant ISO, let me cook, 20-footer, was the biggest shot of the tournament. And Durant also, to me, had one of the coolest moments of the tournament, which was after the Serbia game, when he says to someone recording, he's like, man, this is what it's all about. He's like, our families are here. We just played in one of the greatest games ever. Everyone here will remember tonight for the rest of their lives. And that's what it's all about. And Durant's Twitter post after passing Lisa Leslie for the most points, men's or women's, in Olympic history, with the 12 guys sitting on the steps, I just thought was so cool and so vintage Kevin Durant, who KD, in this, as he's gotten older, has been incredibly honest. KD wants to smoke weed, play video games, mess with people on Twitter, and hoop. That's just what he wants to do. And he is such a pure basketball player with such a pure love for the game. I love it. And I'm really glad. He's got 4 golds. He's got the most points ever. If you say he's the greatest men's basketball Olympian ever, you're probably right. And that's part of the legacy. So those are the big 3. Damonza, do you have a guess on who I'm going to say was either the 4th best player or at least the guy who helped his stock? Yeah, helped his stock the most. Do you have a guess on who I would say there? Devin Booker. It is Devin Booker. So Booker had a really cool tweet where somebody had tweeted like, the U.S. for 2024 is going to need somebody who will set their ego aside, do the dirty work, and something like that. And Booker quote tweeted it and said, I'll do it. And ended up doing exactly that. And Booker in this tournament played 22 minutes a night, shot 58% from the field and 59% from 3, and gave you 12 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. And everyone, will get to Tatum in a moment. Everyone mad at Steve Kerr for Tatum not playing, having a big role. It was Devin Booker's fault. Devin Booker was too good. Devin Booker, and did Devin Booker's performance in this make me look at him in a more complimentary light moving forward? 100%. He seemed to have no ego, do all the little things, couldn't miss, which helps always, and was phenomenal. And so, yeah, I mean, I thought Booker to me was the 4th star. The 5th star was Ant. And part of that's because of his play, and part of that's because of his personality. So Ant only played 16 minutes a game. There were some games where it looked like it was a little too much for him, and some games where it looked like he was had fire-breathing dragon. And
he wasn't in the Olympics.
One of the coolest moments of the tournament. And shout out Noah Eagle, who, if you guys remind me, we're going too long here, put this in the notes. Remind me on Thursday to say something about Noah Eagle longer form. Shout out to Noah Eagle for capturing this moment as he did. But in the gold medal game, when Durant and Ant are on a fast break, and Durant finds Ant for a lob dunk, that had to be maybe the coolest moment of Ant's basketball life, certainly on the short list. That's his hero. That's his childhood idol. Like, all right, Durant's been in the league 16 years. Ant Edwards is turned 23 last week. So since Ant's been a 3rd grader, Durant's been an MVP level guy. Looked up to him, wanted to be him, and to then be in the gold medal game catching an alley-oop from him. It's unfathomable. And I also loved the role. Like, Ant is so genuinely himself, where I don't know if you saw the video Steph posted that evidently Ant, after the gold medal game, said to him, you just showed up to Paris 3 days ago, giving Steph shit because he hadn't played well prior to the semifinal. And then the team giving Ant shit for not knowing how to pop champagne. And saying you ain't been there. So they're on the steps and everyone's shaking up champagne and popping the bottles. And Ant doesn't know how to do it. And all the 3 older guys are like, oh yeah, you ain't won yet. You've never done this. How do you do it?
How was the cup malfunction?
So honestly, the mistake people make is they try to just push the cork out when what you need to do is twist and pull. And so I obviously have never won a championship, but I've opened champagne bottles. And so it was just a really endearing moment where
he's the youngest guy on the team. He was like, everybody, right?
Yeah. I think the next youngest is Halliburton, but yeah. So there's the Anthony Edwards piece. Joel Embiid, after looking again like it was going to be another time where, all right, Embiid in a big spot doesn't show up, showed up in the Serbia game and the game before, had a really big sequence in the Serbia game where he scored 7 straight points, also gave up some bad rebounds. But here is my glass half full view of this, Damonza. This is the first time in Joel's life he's played with winning players in big moments. He's never played in big games. Biggest game he's ever played in is Game 7 of Round 2 a couple times. Maybe he learns from this experience the way Melo, Wade, and LeBron learned from the 2008 experience with Kobe. That's the hope. I thought some of his quotes were kind of clownish, and I'm not a huge fan of the suck it, crotch chop stuff, but he is who he is. But we have to give credit where it's due. He did have a couple excellent games. Anthony Davis, I thought, was steady, reliable force throughout. Didn't play a ton later in the tournament. Was great defensively whenever he was out there, just like Bam was. I also thought Bam, again, didn't play a lot. Bam, Embiid, and AD all averaged around 16 minutes a game, which makes sense. You only have 40 minutes, and those are your three bigs. They're going to split it up. But I thought Bam handled himself really well. Bam and AD were great defensively. And then the other guy who I thought was sneaky excellent and found himself more prominently featured than a lot of people probably expected was Drew. Where Drew was the guy that Kerr could just put in there and he would do whatever was needed. He is the definition of a winning player. No, can understand the game, will always play great defense, will always be unselfish, and will do his thing. Derek White, obviously very early in the tournament, had one great game where he couldn't miss, but he really was not supposed to be there and was happy to be there. Halliburton, good for him for having a good disposition and not complaining about being the guy who didn't get in. This is the argument to not having 12 stars on the team, because then a star is going to be in the Halliburton role. And then there's Tatum, who sometimes basketball's simple. He didn't make a jump shot. From the exhibition play to the gold medal game, outside of 3 feet, he was 0 for 16. Tough spot, man. And in the gold medal game, there was a sequence where he had the ball, almost turned it over, got it back, and then put up this awkward, kind of awful floater. And it was like,
man.
Passed
it back to Katie after?
Yeah. And it was like, man, it just really seems like his confidence was shaken. It's a weird spot. I'm not going to kill him. I thought his disposition was fine. It's not, I don't want to say it's not his fault. That sounds almost patronizing, but he just his shot from the start of the Eastern Conference Finals to right now, his shot's been off and it's messed with his confidence level. And so it's obviously not like, it's not a great look, but what are you going to do? Like, I just don't know. Like, I'm not going to kill him, and I'm also not going to kill Kerr for not playing him. Trying to win these games. And Tatum wasn't playing well. You're a Tatum fan, Damonza. You go, if you think I'm being unfair or you just give your take, go ahead.
In the very beginning, I thought it was a little strange when Tatum wasn't playing, and then he got put in and he didn't hit the shots, and they continued to basically not play him. But yeah, I just thought it was super weird in the beginning, but then as the Olympics continued, it started to make sense. He is my guy, but like, you got to hit shots, and I do think that it's a confidence issue. I do think he's been in his head since the finals, and it did not help that he ended up having to play for the freaking country a couple months later.
Yeah. I mean, it could have helped if he'd have played well, but it was. What's so weird is he was excellent in the last Olympics. And so he's played great on this stage. It was just a weird spot. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's quickly get to the other Olympics things, and then we'll move on.
So Team USA basketball has been dominant since 2004 with all those medals and golds we got. But the rest of the world is starting to catch up. Obviously, Serbia kept it pretty close, and France is going to get better. Wemby's only going to get better. How scared should the Team USA 2028 team be?
I mean, scared. So you look at this year's team. Steph, LeBron, Durant are gone in 4 years. So take them off it. Embiid is already talking about playing for someone else, so take him off it. I don't know that you can rely on that Anthony Davis is going to play again. I would preliminarily possibly take him off it. So what's the team look like? Booker, I think, will come back. Ant obviously will come back. I would think Tatum would come back. I would think, but maybe he's pissed. The thing is, you might have alienated Tatum and Brown, and you're going to need him in 4 years. And now, obviously, there's the young people are like, oh, Cooper Flag. There's the young guys. I get that. Drew won't be there in 4 years. No chance. Drew's another one of the older guys that I wasn't even talking about. So, yeah, they could be in trouble. They absolutely, I don't want to go through who's going to be on the roster. We've spent too much time. But yeah, they absolutely could be in trouble. And France is only going to be getting more formidable. All right, let's move on.
Yeah, what were your favorite non-basketball moments from these Olympics?
Oh, man. So the kid from Kansas City, Quincy Hall, winning the 400, coming back from 5th place was unbelievable. There is a great video of a young female Chinese gymnast at the medal stand seeing the two Americans biting their medals and then looking over like, oh, is that what we're supposed to do? And it just seemed like she wanted to be included, so she bit hers. I thought that was great. I thought Simone's redemption story was phenomenal. I thought I can't get enough of Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, the hurdler and the 400-meter runner. She is a legendary athlete. And the gap between her and the second best ever in her sport, Femke Bol, is just getting bigger. I mean, it's like a Ledecky style gap. And there was something else. Oh, I was happy Sha'Carri got her gold. That made me really happy that she got her gold after, I think, deserving it for quite some time. And I also, there was another moment that Novak, who really wanted, clearly to win gold and finally did, even though he beat my guy. Those were great. I love the Olympics. Oh, I guess the gymnasts were Italian, not American, where the Chinese girl was doing what they were doing. Thank you guys. Yep. And the next Olympics, Damonza, are in LA.
Yes.
And so I told your mom yesterday that I am going to, a year out from the Olympics, make it very clear to Wilds and Brew that during the Olympics, we're taking the show to LA. We're going to do the show from the lot in LA because I was so jealous of Acho, who was there and was able to watch the track and field. I don't care so much about the swimming. I know people love swimming. I'm not as into it. But I want to be at track and field every night for an Olympic week. And to have it be in LA in prime time is going to be so great. And and there's a lot of, other stuff that I want to see. But I loved these Olympics. I thought NBC did a great job with it. Shout out to everybody involved. I loved it. And so I like the Winter Olympics. I love the Summer Olympics. And so, and our women's gymnastics team kind of getting vindication and redemption, I thought was phenomenal. All right, that was a long A block. Take a quick break, come back, play Fact or Overreact. What's right? Welcome back, What's Right with Nick Wright. And if you're looking for your next favorite tequila, Terramana is a premium small batch tequila founded by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Each bottle of Terramana is meticulously crafted from 100% fully mature agave, slow roasted in traditional brick ovens, and distilled in handmade copper pot stills. Try Terramana today in the People's Margarita, a deliciously refreshing drink made with Terramana Blanco, lime, agave nectar, and pineapple juice. Terramana is also the perfect pairing when inviting friends and family around to watch sports and celebrate the big games together. For more information, Visit Terramana.com. That's TEREMANA.com and follow on social at Terramana. Must be 21 years or older. Please enjoy responsibly. Terramana Small Batch Tequila, 40% alcohol by volume, imported by Siete Buck Spirits, White Plains, New York. All right, Damonza, let's get to some football real quick before we get some listener questions. Go ahead.
Yeah, so on our last pod on Thursday, you came out and said that, Andy came out that Andy Reid was playing his starters. You said that everybody should play their starters, do what Andy Reid's doing. He's the greatest coach.
Yes.
And Hollywood Brown got hurt on the first play of the preseason game. So, you think you should stick to that? This is still a good idea.
I'm not going to play the result. Yeah, guys might get dinged up, but the overall, the greater good is still there.
Yeah.
What? Go ahead.
That guy's always hurt. He's your most notably hurt guy. Probably should.
Well, sit that guy out. Listen. It's his first game ever with the Chiefs. He's a small receiver, so he's going to have some injury issues. In his defense, his games played in his career are 14, 16, 16, 12, 14. So he gets dinged and misses a little bit of time, but is not a guy who is consistently missing big time. He suffered an injury similar to the one you suffered, Damonza.
I could tell by the way he fell.
Except oddly, evidently, it wasn't. So your injury was at this part of your collarbone. His was at this part, the one that connects to the sternum. So they said that it's more associated with a car crash. Tyreek Hill suffered this injury as well. Listen, he might miss week 1. It doesn't change my opinion on playing your guys is smart. And I'll be honest, oddly, I feel bad for Hollywood, but I'd prefer it be this than like a hamstring tweak or an ankle sprain, some lower body injury that's going to slow you down and hamper you throughout the year. This is pretty simple. The bone's going to heal and he's going to be fine. So no, it seems like everyone else was a lot more worried about that than I was. Next.
So it's been a while since we had some football to watch, so naturally everybody's going to blow up at the smallest thing. But sometimes those overreactions turn out to be the truth. So let's decide what is what in a game of fact or overreact. So you may be onto something. You may be onto something with your guy Caleb. In his first on-field action, Williams is all but perfect, leading the field by a large margin of inefficiency. Here are his numbers.
Yeah. Okay, number 0.97 EPA per play. Joe Burrow was number 2 amongst quarterbacks this weekend with 0.62. So it's a big number. Go ahead.
Company. So factor overreact. Caleb Williams is the number 1 quarterback in the NFC.
All right, so that's probably an overreaction right now. It might be a fact by the end of the year. Competing with Stafford, Dak, your guy Jordan Love, Jared Goff would be the biggest competitors for it. I think he could be number 1 by the end of the year. I do think that.
Okay.
All the great quarterbacks are in the AFC, and I think Caleb is going to be a special player. Next.
Speaking of Jordan Love, he picked up right where he left off, launching a bomb for a 65-yard touchdown a few plays into his only drive for the game. Factor overreact, Jordan Love is in for an MVP caliber season.
I think that's an overreaction. The MVP caliber is a bridge too far, in part because I just don't think the Packers are going to have the record requisite for their quarterback to win the MVP. The way the MVP voters have done it lately, you have to win 12 or 13 or 14 games. I don't think the Packers are going to do that, but I do think Jordan Love's one of the most interesting players in the league to watch this year because we've seen him play one season, first half of which he was not good, the second half of which he was an A+. And is being able to see
one of the bigger what ifs of this season come.
Yes,
right?
100%. And they've paid him as if they know. So I'm super excited to see it. Next.
The Broncos were laughed at for picking a senior citizen with the 12th overall pick. But Bo Nix quieted the doubters early, leading 4 scoring drives in his preseason debut versus the Colts. Factor overreact, Bo Nix is heme.
Yeah, no, that's obviously overreacting. Here's the deal. I didn't think Bo Nix played very well. And Broncos fans are mad because I said this on TV. And they're like, Nick's just a Broncos hater. Let me tell you something. The Chiefs Broncos used to be a rivalry. That's pretty good. This is a good Photoshop if you're not watching on YouTube. The Chiefs Broncos used to be a rivalry. Then we beat them 16 times in a row, and it stopped being a rivalry. The NFL on their YouTube page has for every rookie quarterback, if you type in the name of the quarterback and then every throw, they have a cut up of every throw. I think anyone that is just looking at the numbers from Bo Nix's debut should go watch the throws and watch his skittishness in the pocket. I was not impressed. Maybe you can say I'm being biased. It's that because I didn't think he was that good coming out of college. Go watch the throws. But I think the Broncos are in the worst quarterback shape of anyone in the league other than maybe the Raiders. It's Zach Wilson, Jared Stidham, and Bo Nix, and I don't think Nix has it. I know everyone liked how he played this weekend. I'm not one of those people. Next.
All right. 10th overall pick, J.J. McCarthy had a solid showing in his debut. It is after he threw an interception on the first possession. Sam Darnold is a starter for now, but Sam Darnold is obviously Sam Darnold. Factor overreact. Mm-hmm. J.J. will start week 1.
I think he might, and here's the deal. So I wasn't high on J.J. coming out of college at all either, similar to Nix. I thought he played excellent. I was really impressed by what he did. And I know he and Nix had similar numbers. I thought JJ's were way more believable and duplicable. And so I thought, listen, we know who Sam Darnold is. And so if JJ is anywhere close to ready, he should be the starter. Next.
Makes sense. Noah Lyles has had quite the week, and now he has Tyreek Hill coming after him. We're going to play a little video.
Would you like to race him when he gets home?
I will beat Noah Lyles.
You think so?
I will beat Noah Lyles.
Like by a lot?
No, I won't beat him by a lot, but I will beat Noah Lyles.
I'd like to see that happen.
Okay. Listen, I love Tyreek, but I mean, relax, man. And I don't even really like Noah Lyles, but he's not going to beat Noah Lyles.
Wait, so maybe this is just ignorance by me, but I don't think Tyreek is talking out of I don't think he's talking out of hand right there. I think there is a chance.
So you think Tyreek Hill could win the 100-meter gold medal?
No,
that's what Noah Lyles just did.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, I'm figuring they're just talking in like a straight line, regular race, like
yeah, that's what the 100 meters is a straight line, regular race.
I think it'd be pretty close.
Yeah, so no,
without pads, Tyreek Hill on the track.
They're all close. It's the 100-meter dash. They're all close, but no. Listen. Tyreek Hill, listen, here's the other thing. Forget being fastest man in the world. Tyreek Hill currently, I don't think, is the fastest man in the AFC. Xavier Worthy came to town and broke his record. Okay. So, yeah, exactly. So, Tyreek Hill's unbelievable. He's not faster than Noah Lyles.
What if they both had pads on, though?
Oh, then I would probably buy Tyreek because Lyles isn't used to that. Okay. Sure, on a football field, maybe.
But you see how you just said that Noah Lyles isn't used to having football pads on, and just like Tyreek Hill isn't used to having them off. So it's like,
no, I get that. So if we're saying, but typically when people race, they don't put on full football pads. He's talking about beating Noah Lyles. I assume it means on the track or on the football field, but just a regular race, not padded up. He's not beating Noah Lyles. He's just not. He's not even beating COVID-stricken Noah Lyles. Quick break. Answer your listener questions next. What's right? All right, welcome back in. I got to get to work, Damonza, so let's go through some of these listener questions quick.
Scott Frazier, Nick, how many teams will have buyer's remorse on the overpaid quarterback situation? Over under 5.5.
Oh, under 5.5. Listen, I think the Dolphins will with Tua. I obviously don't think the Jags will. I think the Lions are going to be fine with Goff, but some will, but it's not going to be anywhere close to 6, so way under. Next.
Kai Jelly, with Joe Burrow healthy and in camp, who is the biggest threat to Kansas City in the AFC? Bengals, Bills, Texans.
I think the Ravens probably should be included in that. Some people would at least. The Texans are going to be a trendy pick. With that said, even though I have real concerns about the Bengals defense, I'm going to give the Bengals respect and say the Bengals because they're the only team that has beaten the Chiefs in a game that matters. And so, except for Tom Brady teams, and he's gone now. So I'm going to say the Bengals. Next.
Isaiah Ano Fuller. Nick, do you think Coach Mangini has thrown extra shade towards Mahomes and the Chiefs because he realizes that they are actually threatening the Patriots and Tom?
Yes, I do. And I will tell Coach that. Yes, I absolutely do. Next.
Did Jokic and Serbia prove it is better to win the bronze than the silver in Olympic basketball?
100%. That's always true in these team competitions because then you go out with a win. It's the difference between going out with a win and going out with a loss. You get to celebrate. And so, Jokic, absolutely. All right, next.
Trey Hassan, question, is Katie Ledecky the most underappreciated Olympic athlete? I feel like she does not get enough credit in the mainstream media about how dominant she is.
I mean, probably to a degree. I don't think she's totally underappreciated. I think people know, but I also think because her races are so long, it doesn't have like the excitement of, Phelps's races. But yeah, she is an all-time legend and the greatest female swimmer ever. I mean, hands down. All right, last one.
Jeremy Contreras asks, early U.S. Open tennis favorite.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I told you, I'm picking Alcaraz in every major that exists when he's healthy for the next 8 years. So Carlos Alcaraz, and I'll be out there. I'm not going to be a ball boy, but I'll be out there for it. All right, I'll see you guys Thursday. Damonza, great job. Great Olympics. It was really so much fun to watch. I'll be on with Colin in about 90 minutes, be on my show in 3.5 hours. What's right? Hey, thanks for watching. If you're still here, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes. After you've done that, one more favor, go to your favorite audio platform of choice and subscribe there as well. Don't forget, we're live every Tuesday and Thursday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern-ish. 10:35, 10:40, it sometimes changes, but that's why you hit the bell. You hit the bell so you're notified. You subscribe so we can get to 200,000 followers. We're right around 150,000. We'd love to get to 200,000, get Damonza another plaque. So like, subscribe, rate, send a rating too. Do all that cool stuff. Thanks, guys.